Hey, this is Kevin Kelly. Get ready for the latest episode of the Stardom Cast.
Hello, guys, and welcome to the Stardom Cast, your weekly audio source of all things World Wonder Ring Stardom. I'm your host, Rob Goodwin, and I am joined by Matt Turner. Matt Turner, on the eve of possibly the busiest session of podcasting we're going to do, how on earth are you?
I am absolutely fantastic, Rob, as always. I'm going to hit you with 3 questions right in a row, so I hope you're ready for them.
Jesus, straight into it.
Number 1, how are you? Question number 2, how is your foot? And question number 3, this past week, did you by chance get any tweets at you from the fantastic friends and family of the Stardom Cast? Did anybody by chance tweet you to check in on you with any pictures or gifts on how your foot is?
I massively appreciate the people who sent me gifts of Waka Tsukiyama doing the Cosmic Angel stance. Thank you, everyone. My only comment is, it's a damn sight harder than it looks. Leave Waka alone. But no, in all seriousness, it's better than it was when I first did it. It's more swollen now. It's a bit more bruised, but there's no break, which is good. I think the medical term is buggered it. I've done all the tendons in it and the ligaments. I've got an absolute shed load of soft tissue damage and all sorts, so all the good stuff. But yeah, no break, so that is the most important thing. I'd love to say that I did it in a way as cool as attempting the Cosmic Angels dance, but I'm afraid I am going to have to expose Matt for the flat-out liar he is.
Breaking 90 seconds in, he's breaking kayfabe, but all right, buddy, whatever you want to do.
But no, I honestly can't remember if I'd literally just come in from work, and I can't remember if I was talking to my girlfriend or if I was playing with the cat. And I thought I was closer to the ground than I was, so I went to step off what I thought was the bottom step. It wasn't, it was the second step. So as my foot came down, I've landed on the back of my toes, and I've gone over the front of my foot, and so all my weight's gone onto that. How I didn't break anything, I've got no idea. But, you know, I'm made of absolute tissue paper, so obviously we had to go to the hospital. And, yeah, they said I've made a mess of it, but thankfully no break. So, yeah, all good. Now, I'd like to hit you with a question, Matt.
Sure, sir.
Now, I need to thank Valkage on our Discord for forwarding me the link to this, because I was unaware that this was a thing until, when was it I texted you? Was it Monday, I believe?
Sunday. It was Sunday night. I just left catch camp, and I didn't get a chance to, because I had a lot of driving to do, and I hit traffic, and I didn't get a chance to look at it until Monday on my lunch. But you sent it to me Sunday night.
I did. So Meltier, the team of Tam Nakano and Natsupoi, for those who don't know, they had their debut live performance of their entrance theme. It was one of around 65 songs performed at the Bushiroad 15th anniversary show at the Belluna Dome Baseball Dome in Sayama. So big venue. I'm sure I saw 15,000 people bandied about as an attendance. So a huge attendance for the two women to perform in front of. But Matt, I know that you are perhaps the most positive person I know. There's not even a perhaps in front of you. You are the most positive person I know. I would like to hear your defense of Tam's singing.
Well, again, you sent me the thing and said, yeah, you have to see this. So I watched it, and I said, okay, obviously, if you listen to this podcast, I'm not a fan of, I'm not going to say I'm not a fan. I'm more of a, it's obviously their entrance theme is more pop type music. I'm more of a rock and heavy metal guy. So I knew I was going to have to grade this on a curve. And I figured that's fair. We'll grade it on a curve. You know, Matt's kind of a heavy metal guy. So I graded on a small curve. And my, you know, if you want my review, my opinion on this, grade it on just a small curve. Meltier's performance was the greatest live performance since Queen at Live Aid in Wembley Stadium. And so again, that's just grading on a slight curve. Maybe slightly better. Maybe slightly better just based on the curve. I don't know. And I actually texted you exactly what I said just to get a rise out of you. And then you said, you were going back and forth, and I said something like, "Oh, who are you kidding? When they tour when the Meltear World Tour tours at the O2 Arena, you're going to be there in the front row crying with your Meltear towel." And you said, "Mate, O2 Arena, more like Wembley Stadium."
Absolutely.
And I go, there it is. There it is. There it is. Just like Queen at Wembley Stadium and the British Bulldog versus Bret Hart at Wembley Stadium, Tam Nakano and Natsupoi will be, immortalized in that legendary venue over there in your home country. So
only the greatest musical artists perform at Wembley Stadium, and I feel like it would be a mistake not to include Natsupoi and Tam in that bracket, along with the likes of Queen, Foo Fighters, Muse, and a whole litany of other people who've played Wembley Stadium. It's not my thing. I will just say, I know that a couple of people have said, why don't you like it? I think the entrance is great from a visual standpoint. It's like Matt, it's not my thing. I will say now, because I am not as positive as Matt, I thought Natsupoi did a really good job. I thought the show was really good, but bless her heart, Tam she's certainly better at the lip syncing than she is at the whole live singing. I think she, bless her, she tried to hit every single note and probably hit about 30%. There's a famous sketch in Britain from a comedy duo called Morecambe and Wise, and I believe the quote is, "I am hitting all the right notes, just not necessarily in the right order." And I think that,
how dare you?
I think that probably suit sort of. I think that's Tam's performance in a nutshell. However, I know that they want to do more things like this. I know that they want to do performances, and I know they're on about doing more live performances of the song and perhaps even doing more afterwards. But yeah, what a rub for them. I thought it was great, aside from obviously a couple of the notes. But yeah, I thought excellent. Well done. Matt.
Well, hold on. Let me. I know we got a lot to talk about, so let me just tail end this on the Meltear thing.
Please do.
Rob, have you ever seen Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure?
I'll be honest. I've seen it twice, and both of those times I was trolleyed out of my tree, so I can't remember a thing about it.
So basically, the long and the short of the movie is basically Bill and Ted. They're high school seniors, and they're trying to graduate high school. They want to create this band called Wild Stallions. So what winds up happening is there's a time traveler by the name of Rufus, played by the legendary George Carlin, that needs to make sure that these two kids graduate high school so the band Wild Stallions will exist. At the end of the movie, they ask him, they say, "Rufus, how come you're so hell-bent on this band forming?" He said, "Because in the future, Wild Stallions music will solve world peace, it will end world hunger, it will align all the planets, and it's the reason why the sun comes up." I firmly believe that Meltear's music will be on the same part that Rufus, aka George Carlin, said about Wild Stallions music, and that's my stance. And damn it, I'm sticking to it. sticking to it.
I do wonder at what point Natsupoi will break away from Tam and
my goodness.
Create her own solo career.
Okay, Beyonce.
Yeah, I do wonder who's going to be the Yoko Ono in their Beatles.
Wow, we're all over the place.
Absolutely.
So Stardom.
Why talk about Stardom when we can talk about Meltear taking the musical world by storm?
The Meltear cast.
I think the rebrand is all but complete. Matt, what is coming up on Patreon this week?
On the Patreon for the watch along, we just this past week we did the watch along to the 2021 Goddess of Stardom finals between FWC and Momo Watanabe and Izumi. This Monday coming up, our watch along will be, because I can't get enough of Momo and Hazuki, will be Hazuki challenging Momo Watanabe for the Wonder of Stardom, the AKA the white belt, back in 2018. So that's what happened this past week, and that's what's coming up this week. For the white belt tier Patreon members, as of this listening, the Hazuki high speed run should be up in your feeds, and then at the end of this month, the Kagetsu red belt reign should be up in your feeds. And I know I actually texted Rob last night after I watched Kagetsu, the first match where she beats Toni Storm for the red belt. And I know it's a match you said you never watched. I never watched until I saw it last night. Completely blown away. It's probably the best Toni Storm match I've ever seen that didn't have somebody by the name of Io Shirai in it. And probably the best Kagetsu match I've ever seen that didn't have anybody by the name of Mayu or Arisa Hoshinki in it. So, that was basically the first match I watched. Well, it has to be the first match I watched, but I was completely blown away by what I saw, and I'm really looking forward to digging into the rest of Kagetsu's red belt reign. Also, my friend, I have been teasing and talking about what we were going to do, what the Stardom cast is going to do for our fantastic Patreon listeners for the month of December. Now, if you know anything about me, I'm a huge fan of Christmas. I love the Christmas season. I basically turn into Clark Griswold. Give me all the Christmas music. Give me those terrible Lifetime and Hallmark movies. Give me Charlie Brown. I'm all about Christmas. So I'm much of a giver. So I want to give our Patreon listeners, Rob, something very special for December. So here it is, folks. Drum roll, please. Here's what we're doing on the Patreon. We're going to be doing a theme. The theme will be, are you ready for it, Rob? Are you ready for it?
Cannot wait.
It is a Merry Mayu Christmas. For all of December, very much like in April, we did Insane April, we're going to be doing a Mayu Iwatani theme for the month of December. So I'm going to go over the tiers. So if you are a Patreon member, great. If you're thinking about becoming a Patreon, the month of December is definitely the month to do it. So for the $1 tier members, we're going to be doing a complete career retrospective of Mayu Iwatani. And by we, I mean, Rob, I'm going to have a special guest.
You are indeed.
Going to be joining me. Yes, it's going to be joining me on the Patreon. It's somebody that I think you know and that you like. He is the author of the book Living the Dream, Stardom's 10th anniversary in review. That's you, buddy.
That is me.
Good friend, Rob, good one. So when I wanted to, this is just for the, if you're just a $1 tier member, you get you're going to get this career retrospective of Mayu. And of course, and again, Rob, thank you so much for agreeing to do this with me. I would not want to do it with anybody else. Obviously, you're the biggest Stardom fan I know, and you're the biggest Mayu fan I know. So I think that this will be an absolute treat for me and you to just basically jot down some notes. And once we start recording, we don't know if we're going to go an hour. We don't know if we're going to go 2.5. Basically, we're going to go until we really, till we think that we've, hit a home run on that podcast. So I'm excited for that. Now, obviously, the $3 tier for the month of November, as always, you get to vote. I'll be putting this up on the Twitter probably sometime this weekend. So your 4 options, and again, the top 2 get picked. The 4 options are Mayu's 2018 5-star run, Mayu's 2016 Cinderella run, Mayu in ROH, and a Thunder Rock review. Thunder Rock obviously being Mayu and Io Shirai. Now I get tweets and DMs all the time to do something on Thunder Rock. The only problem is between it's tough to find all their matches between the lack of the stuff that's on the website from 2011 to 2016, and even with the litany of DVDs I have with Io and Mayu. It's tough to find everything there. So basically, at my disposal, please, receive the $3 tier, you get your choice there, and you get the career retrospective. Now, the full Megillah for $5, the best deal in the business. Of course, that's our watch along. So for our 4 watch alongs, we're doing 4 matches of Mayu versus Io Shirai. My opinion, the greatest feud in the history of Stardom. Match number 1. So basically, week 1 in December, we're going to be doing the 2015 5-star Grand Prix match. Week number 2 in December, we're going to be doing their match on the 15th of May in 2016 from Stardom Gold. Match number 3, week number 3, we'll be doing the year-end climax match from the 22nd of December in 2016, and we'll round the month of December out with the Mayu versus Io match from 2017, June 21st. So for $5, you get the 4 watch-along matches, you get the 2 reviews, and then you also get the career retrospective. So that's what we have going on Patreon. I'm a busy boy over there, Rob.
Honestly, mate, I'm surprised you have time to sleep. It's no wonder you're having a rest from your wrestling duties when you've got all of this stuff to fit in for a Merry Mayu Christmas.
Because I love everybody. Consider your Uncle Matt Turner. He is your Santa Claus. If you listen to this podcast, your Uncle Matt Turner, he is Santa Claus. So happy holidays, everyone.
Absolutely. I am buzzing. That retrospective is going to be an absolute mountain of fun. I can't wait. Let's kick into some news then. But before I do, I just want to quickly thank our latest patron, whose name has gone, which is incredibly annoying. Hang on 1 second, I will find it. I did have
Invisible Man. Congratulations.
Leroy Bryce, thank you very much, Leroy. We really appreciate your support. Thank you. And thank you to everyone that has subscribed to our Patreon, irrelevant of what band or membership bracket that is in. We really, really, really do appreciate it. Kicking into the news then, the card for Stardom in Showcase Volume 3 has been announced, and there was a further announcement this morning, which we'll get into in a moment. So your card for Stardom in Showcase is as follows. The Neo Stardom Army versus Donna Del Mondo, which is the match we told you about a couple of weeks ago in a 6-person tag. Nene Takahashi and Yu and Tropical Passion Mask versus Julia May Sakurai and Tekla. It doesn't say anything there about a coffin match, so, fingers crossed, we live in hope. We have got a Judo Jacket Rules 6-woman tag match with Utami and Hina and Mirai taking on Maika, Mayu Iwatani, and Hanan. So some interesting teams there. We have got a Falls Count Anywhere 4-way battle between Azumi, Koguma, Starlight Kid, and Ramka Chow, which is going to be sensational. We have got a special tag match with the return of Natsu Sumire. So she's teaming with Hazuki, taking on the Ueda Tai team of Natsuko Tora and Saki Kashima after Tora and Saki wrecked Natsu's bar. And then we have got a Hardcore Rules 6-woman tag, and that's going to be between the Prominence team of Risera, Suzu Suzuki, and Kurumi Hirogi. I think that's how you say it, against Tam Nakano and Natsupoi and a mystery teammate. And this is all to do with being able to perform their song live. This morning, and I don't know if you've seen this, Matt, this has been announced that their mystery opponent, their mystery teammate, sorry, I should say, is none other than the returning Unagi Sayaka, who has almost single-handedly been lighting up the internet with her journeys and her live streams. She's been doing a lot of good work, and she will be at Stardom in Showcase in Kawasaki on the 26th of November, teaming back with Cosmic Angels. Matt, it's nice to see Unagi again.
Am I the only one? As soon as I saw that, I was like, my first reaction was cool. And then after that, I'm like, yeah, she's definitely turning on Tam and Natsupoi. Is that just me? Like, do you have that buzz as well? Do you think she's turning, or you think she's going to straight up just team with them?
Well, this doesn't signal the complete return of Unagi. She's still got a lot of commitments in other promotions, and she's gone on record as to say she's been able to do things with the time, where she's been able to do things like, I think I read on Twitter that she'd been camping for a couple of days that she wouldn't have been able to do if she wasn't in Stardom. So she seems to be enjoying whatever it is she's doing, this freelance work. And she has been announced for a title tournament, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. I think if it was a case of her coming back full time, I could potentially see a turn. But I don't know. It would be interesting, certainly. And I think, Unagi being sort of the lone eel would be a good storyline. But again, depends how many dates Stardom Unagi actually does with Stardom, because at the moment we're not entirely sure.
Yeah, that would set up a lot of stuff, because then you'd have all the singles matches. Then when Mina comes back, a Mina Unagi match at either Big Cork and Hall show, or maybe in the middle of like a jam-packed pay-per-view. So Yeah, that's immediately what I thought. But yeah, who knows? But good on Unagi. Really, like, yeah, exactly. Just really lighting up the internet with all of her trips and tropes, and getting that match at Sendai Girls by basically going into the dojo that we talked about a couple of weeks ago. Hilarious.
Yeah, I think the biggest face on Unagi's streams is the cat, who, bless it, is forced to do the most incredible dance routines, and it sits there, the most docile thing in the world. It does make me laugh how much it looks like just, this is my life. Just bless him. Speaking of Unagi Sayaka, at Mr. Mid-South 1984, says that the lineup for the 3AW title tournament for Marvelous on December the 4th at Korakuen has been announced. This obviously comes after Takumi Iroha had to vacate the title due to injury. They are 10-minute time limit matches, with the final being a 30-minute time limit, and a draw will result in both women being eliminated. It's a 10-woman bracket, and we have got the likes of Rin Kadokura in the bracket. We have got Mia Momono, we've got Ai Hassan, we've got Yuna Manas, and in the middle of that bracket, taking on Tomoko Watanabe, is Unagi Sayaka. So it'll be interesting. I don't think she's going to win the 3AW title, which is Marvelous's top title. I'd be very surprised if she wins it, but considering her merch is doing very well at shows that she turns up on, I wouldn't be surprised to see her have a good run in this tournament, maybe to the final, Matt.
Yeah, it's a possibility. I would, if they were to ask me who my vote would be, I would say Rin Kadokura. I only know a handful of the names in that tournament, but I'm a big fan of her from the work that I saw her do this past year, 2021 in Stardom. So that would be my who I'd put my money on, and by my money I mean all of maybe like 50 cents American.
Rin Kadokura, of course, who recently got married, so congratulations to Rin.
Congratulations.
Yes. Which I believe was to oh my god, her name is completely I'll find it in a minute. It's to the son of Nagao. Chigusa Nagao, that's the one. So, yeah, congratulations to Rin. And finally, I thought this was a little bit interesting for you, Matt. The Stardom in Tokyo Comic-Con 2022. So on November 25th, which is a Friday, there is going to be a Tokyo Comic-Con, and Stardom will be present. The 6-woman tag team match has been announced. It is going to be Utami Hayashishita and Azumi and Lady C of Queen's Quest taking on the Stars team of Koguma, Hazuki, and Saya Ida. Just think, Matt, if it had been New York, you'd have been there.
Absolutely. Obviously, I go to New York Comic-Con every year. And about a month or two before my New York Comic-Con trip, I actually wrestled at the Pocono Comic-Con, which was absolutely, probably in 20 years of independent wrestling, the second craziest thing I think I've ever been a part of. The CZW Ring of Honor crazy brawl inside and outside of the ECW arena. That definitely always takes the cake for me. But yeah, I saw that they're wrestling at a Comic-Con. So hey, the doors are the international doors are opening up. So Reed Pop, listen up. Stardom's a big thing. Let's get Stardom over here next year for the 2023 New York Comic-Con.
Imagine the scenes.
Oh my goodness. People cosplaying as the Cosmic Angels doing the dance. And then Rob will be like, I'll take a photo, I'll take a video of Rob. Like, that's not how you do it.
Step aside, peasants. And I just break out the really wooden Wakasukiyama moves.
Oh my goodness.
A little bit of personal news from me. In 2023, it's going to be a pretty busy year for myself. I released a book on the 31st of July this year. I've decided to undertake the Leviathan-like task of reviewing all of the Monday Night Wars, so every Monday Night Raw, every Monday Nitro, and all of the pay-per-views. The 1995 book, A Declaration of War, that dropped on the 31st of July, and obviously it's Christmas coming up. Please treat yourselves. You can find it on Amazon. But the 1996 version will be out in December of 2023. Depending on how big it is, it may or may not be split into two parts, because obviously Nitro goes to 2 hours partway through the year. So that will be dropping. It's got a tentative release date of December 2023, but that isn't all, because who needs sleep? Am I right? In July of 2023, I'm going to be releasing 2 different books. I'm going to be releasing Building Blocks, which is 100 of wrestling's greatest matches. I'm not going to be ranking these matches because that will be folly. It's all subjective. It's 100 wrestling matches that I think are just incredible, spanning WWE, WCW, Stardom, New Japan, Dragon Gate, all the way through from, I think the earliest match I reviewed is 1985, all the way through to 2022. So that's going to be illustrated by Matt Charlton of Shining Wizard Designs, who did the fantastic artwork in my first Stardom book. And I say first because I am going to be releasing a follow-up to Living the Dream, which is going to be called Chasing the Dream, and that is going to be 50 of Stardom's greatest matches. So yeah, a busy time for me. Those 2 greatest matches books, hopefully a very tentative release date of July 2023. And my 1996 Complete Monday Night Wars. I'm currently in April, so fingers crossed that's going to be released in December of next year. And then just another note on top of that, if you don't see the website updating, that's fine. The amount of traffic crashed our page because it's only because it's a free website that I'm using. And basically there's a certain amount of traffic before I have to start paying for the website. So I'm currently porting everything over to a different server and basically updating it, making it look very professional. So that will hopefully be online in the next couple of weeks. So please, if you don't see the episodes coming up on the stardomcast.weebly.com, it's because, fingers crossed, it will soon be the stardomcast.com. But again, I will keep you updated as the podcast goes on.
Question, sir, about your book, if you do not mind. Okay, now, first of all, thank you for sending me the image. I saw the covers for these 2 books. I won't spoil what they are, but they absolutely fantastic, and I'm super excited to read more of your material. Again, I just don't plug this because Rob is my friend. I thoroughly enjoy, obviously, the Stardom book, and I do have the 95 Monday Night Wars book. I prefer the Stardom book more just because I like the source material, but I'm excited to read about 96 because I was obviously knee deep in the Monday Night Wars, coming from a personal experience. Just to kind of give you an idea of me watching the Monday Night Wars. One of my really good friends in high school, he had a giant finished basement that he basically lived in. He had his own shower, he had his own kitchen, he had his own living room and his own bedroom. So we would watch Raw. We'd have Raw on in his bedroom, and in his living room, we would have Nitro. So we would go back and forth. So 96 is when I really started getting into WCW because of the whole NWO thing. So one, I'm really excited to read the book, about 96, because that's when things really, really heat up between WWF and WCW. But now your top 50 matches for Stardom, is that going to be ranked like 50 to 1, or just what you think is your top 50 matches in no order?
I'll be perfectly honest. I'm not sure whether it will be ranked, simply because it's a subjective list. Trying to rank them as the greatest matches would be, I think, a little bit of a fruitless endeavor. But I can certainly rank them if this is going where I think it's going.
Well, there's that. And obviously, me and you text back and forth about this. So, question number 2 is, like, when's the cutoff date for your ranking? Obviously, you'll start from 2011, but are you going to end with this year? For example, like if you're already writing them down and say Julia and Shuri have this banger of a 5.5 star match at Dream Queendom, are you going to be like, no, I can't include it because I cut it off? Like, what is your cutoff date for this? And the reason why I'm asking Rob, and me and Rob text back and forth, is obviously, if you listen to this podcast, first of all, we thank you. Second of all, me and Rob agree on quite a lot without discussing it. So as soon as you told me you were doing your top 50 matches, I'm like, when I have time and I figure out the time frame of this, I want to write down my top 50 Stardom matches just to see how many we have like. So that was my next question. When is the cutoff date for your top 50 matches?
So at the moment, obviously, I've left quite a few spaces for this very reason. And I've reached out to a couple of people just to basically say, are there any that I'm missing from Stardom's, back catalogue that I have, obviously I haven't watched every Stardom match. But I'd say the cutoff is probably going to be the end of December.
Okay. So Dream Queendom will be included.
Dream Queendom will be included, yes.
And these phenomenal pay-per-views that we're going to review. Cheap plug for a podcast you're already listening to, but for we have some phenomenal matches coming up, this weekend. So, okay, just so I have an idea. So that's probably what I'll do is on my lengthy Christmas break, because I don't take time off, so I have to use all my days up at the end of the year. I will probably jot down on my top 50 matches, and I obviously won't tell you until I read the book, because I like to be surprised, because I'm really curious just to see how many of the 50 matches me and you agree on.
I am quite excited to see that, to be fair. I think it'll be interesting. Maybe we'll make a podcast out of it. Who knows?
Sure, why not?
Let's move on to the two shows that we are going to review for today. Then Night 4 and Night 5 of the Goddesses of Stardom Tag League. I just want to quickly, a little programming note. Night 6 from the Sendai the Sendai Industry Exhibition Hall show from the 13th of November. It wasn't up in its entirety when we started recording or when we were going to record, so we will add that to our Gold Rush show next week, so we'll have a run through of that show next week. But I will say it was a sellout of 508 people, so well done, Stardom. So Night 4 then of the Goddesses of Stardom Tag League, Sunday the 6th of November 2022. In Mess Wing Mi, Sioux City in the Mi Prefecture in front of 312 people. What I'll do is I will go through these opening matches, and before I get into the Goddess of Stardom Tag League matches, Matt, I'll ask if you want to discuss anything from them. So match 1 was a 4-way match. Saki Kashima defeated Waka Tsukiyama, Saya Kamatani, and Miyu Amasaki, pinning Waka with the double arm facebuster in 5 minutes and 32 seconds. Match 2 was a tag team match with the Black Desire team defeating the Stars team of Mayu Iwatani and Saya Ida. Momo Watanabe getting a pinfall over Saya Ida with the Hito Danashi driver in 7 minutes and 26 seconds. And then match 3 saw a 3-way tag team match. The Queen's Quest team of Utami Hayashishita and Azumi, the New Eras team of Mariah Namisori and Mai Himi, ending in a 15-minute time limit draw. So before we go into the Goddess of Stardom Tag League tournament, Matt, what about those 3 matches, if anything, would you like to talk about?
We just buzzed by real quick the second match with Mayu, Saya Ida, Momo Watanabe, and Starlight Kid. Obviously, Mayu has great chemistry with Momo and Starlight Kid. But damn, Saya Ida, it seems like every time I watch her, she just keeps getting better and better. And I think, and you talked about a couple times here on the podcast, that with a stacked singles roster, maybe Saya Ida's place going into 2023 is a tag team and with Hanan for Wingor. But I just kind of want to give 2 thumbs up to Saya Ida for her performance in that match. I'm just curious on what your rating was for the first match.
That was 3.5.
I had 3 3/4. Yeah, so me and you are right there. So yeah, I thought she was fantastic, and obviously all 4 individuals were fantastic. And then the time limit draw match between the New Eras, Mai Himi, and the Queen's Quest team of Utami and Azumi. That was like 15 minutes of don't blink, wasn't it? I mean, it was just nonstop action to the point where it's like you can kind of hear the timekeeper counting down time, so you knew where it was going. But to me, I just didn't want this match to end. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. Obviously, and some really hard hitting segments with everybody in the ring, even though Azumi is the basically the smallest and the least maybe deadly. I don't know if that's the word between the 6 individuals. But man, Azumi throws some wild and stiff head kicks. Very underrated in the striking. She is.
Yeah, Absolutely. And actually, there's 2 time limit draws over these 2 shows. And the second one didn't drag by any stretch of the imagination. But this one, you're absolutely right. It was holy crap, are we at 12 minutes already? Like, it really did. And I don't know whether it's just because I love the dynamic between, especially the new eras and Micah and Himika. And it's just a lariat fest. And especially because Himika at the moment, I'm particularly enjoying. But all in all, it was one of my favorite matches of the night, of both nights. In fact, I gave it 3 3/4 stars, Matt.
Yeah, same here. 3 3/4. Yeah, absolutely loved it.
It's definitely one of those sort of hidden gems that gets buried because of the tag league, but definitely go and check it out if you're watching that show anyway from the 6th. Let's jump into the Stardom Tag League matches then. So we opened up with a match for the Goddess of Stardom Tag League 2022 Red Goddess block, with Mafia Bella moving to 4 points, defeating the My Fair Lady team, with Tekla submitting Mai Sakurai with the Kumagarami in 7 minutes and 32 seconds. What I really enjoyed in this match was seeing the dynamic between Mai Sakurai and Julia, as I think, a big think, that it's the first time they've faced off since Mai joined DDM. And I just feel sort of Mai is very much looking for Julia's approval and sort of wanting to impress Julia. And I think that's a really cool dynamic that they managed to weave into this match, Matt.
Yeah, the main story for me in this match was Mai Sakurai just being like overly stiff with her fellow DDM members, especially when it came to Julia. Like, she was really, really laying it in, and you just know what's going to happen. Julia obviously is a very hard hitter and probably the person they're going to put the belt on at the end of the year, at the big show at the end of the year. So you know it's coming. I mean, in Mai Sakurai, she's throwing boots and chops and series of forearms. It's like, oh, you know the receipt's coming. And boy, it came tenfold. It sure did. It's like she didn't hold anything back. It was like, all right. But yeah, you're right, Rob. You hit a home run there. So it's basically like she was looking for the approval of Julia in this match. And then after the match was over, Julia came over to Mai Sakurai to make sure she was okay. Very much like a very violent MMA fight that the fighters are going in out there, absolutely just brutalizing each other. And then as soon as the bell rings and it's over, it's like, hey, are you okay? Are you okay? All right, let's go get a steak and a beer afterwards.
Yeah, it's very much a sort of, not necessarily a teaching a lesson. That's not necessarily where I'm going with this. It was more like it's a mentor teacher student sort of relationship, and the whole point of Mai Sakurai joining DDM was that she wanted to be taken more seriously, to concentrate on her wrestling and not be taking part in a dance that breaks people's ankles. So I really enjoyed that, and I really enjoyed the fact that as soon as the match had gone, she offered the hand out to Julia. Julia slapped it away and they hugged, and then Tekla embraced her as well. So it's a nice little story that they're going through with Mai Sakurai. The only thing that I didn't really understand was apparently Mai Sakurai and Lady C are absolutely fine now. Despite
out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere.
There's sort of like the dysfunction that they were sort of teasing when we opened the tag league on pay-per-view, not there in the slightest. There was absolutely no miscommunication on this or the next show, so completely out of the window with no explanation, but there we are.
Whatever.
Yeah, fine. I gave it 3 1/4 stars, Matt. Decent enough matchup.
Yeah, 3 1/4 stars too, sir. Agree with you.
We move on then to Goddess of Stardom Tag League 2022 Blue Goddess block match, with BMI 2000 moving to 4 points, defeating the reigning Tag League champions FWC also with 4 points, with Natsukatora pinning Koguma with the Swanton Bomb in 7 minutes and 3 seconds. I enjoyed this match so much more than I thought I was going to, and I was a massive fan of seeing Hazuki not engaging at all. Like, she didn't pander to the crowd after her name was read out because she's staring daggers at Tora. I mean, obviously there's a lot of history between the two. They were both part of a Wednesday together, and it was Tora who wrestled and defeated Hazuki in her retirement match at the end of 2019. And I do like the fact that they're clearly playing on that. Tor is equally not engaging with Koguma doing the bear dance, shoulder tackles her to the ground and beckons Hazuki to the ring, literally not bothering with Koguma at all. That entire beginning segment was beautiful, Matt.
Yeah, literally as always, my first note, you must be staring at my notes here. My first note, Hazuki and Tora stare holes through each other to start the match. So you figured you would get Tora versus Hazuki to start, or you would have flipped it. You would have had Ruaka and Koguma to start just to build it. And it was like, yeah, shoulder tackle. And Tora's like, nope. I'm like, oh, that's a different formula. It works. That formula worked there. I was like, nope, I want Hazuki. And they were going at it back and forth. Maybe a singles match somewhere down the line, I hope. But I was absolutely stunned by this finish. You had Ruaka basically taking Hazuki out with the top rope splash, the freezer bomb, and then Tora hits the swanton on Koguma. I was like, oh, okay. So you kind of have this makeshift tag team that just beat the 2-time tag team champions and last year's winner. And it kind of it was a good match. Don't get me wrong. It was solid. I really enjoyed it, especially the story with Hazuki and Tora. But it seemed like they had a good pace going, and then they were like, okay, let's just go to the finish. So it's kind of almost taken back by the finish. And one thing I have to know is I kind of bag on Ruaka a little bit just because she's just not progressing in the last 12, 16, 18 months like how pretty much everybody else in the roster has. And I think she's really found her niche here with this tag team, especially with Tora. And it looks like she's getting in better shape too. So kudos to her. You always get 2 thumbs up from me if you're out there, no matter what job you're doing or what you're doing, what your passion is, if you're working your ass off and you're getting better. But she just really seems to be finding her stride in this team with Tora. And it looks like she's like I said, she's probably getting in the gym a little bit as well, because she's looking like she's in pretty good shape. So yeah, I thought this match was pretty good. I gave it 3.25 stars, but I was just stunned at the finish. I thought FWC was definitely taking this.
Absolutely. Piggybacking off what you said, I thought Ruaka looked really good here. There was that one particular spot where Koguma misses the diving crossbody, ends up wiping out Hazuki, and literally just straight away Ruaka hits this senton to both of them. And I really like that moment. There's moments in the next match, on the next show, with BMI 2000, where Ruaka manages to muscle up someone into a fireman buster, and it looks really smooth, and it does seem to be like she's getting in better ring shape. She's sort of improving, and I do think the more she teams with Tora and sort of carries on this momentum, she's going to get better. Obviously, she's going to be sort of working on chemistry and things like that. And I think for the moment, same with Sayurida, I think tag teaming could be where Ruaka goes next and sort of goes to improve a little bit more. But I thought she looked good here. Obviously, the main point of this match are Tora and Hazuki. But yeah, I enjoyed it. 3.5 stars, Matt.
Yeah, you liked a little more than me. Look at that.
I did. Goddess of Stardom Tag League, then this was on main event, a Red Goddess block match with Meltier, the Goddess of Stardom champions, defeating the Karate Brave team of Syuri and Tomoka Inaba. I don't know why I forgot her name. With the Tigers. Geez. I know. With Tam getting the pinfall over Inaba with the Tiger suplex in 12 minutes and 8 seconds. When Inaba came out, I genuinely thought she was coming out with the New Japan World Television Championship. I was like, oh my goodness. The hell?
Yeah, you're right.
They are the spitting image. Obviously, it's not. She's the queen of JTO champion. But I was like, I literally had to double take. And the reason I'm really annoyed with myself about forgetting Inaba's name, I don't know why I'd forgotten her name. So literally all my notes are how impressed I am with Inaba and what the chemistry was like with especially Natsupoi. I thought she did really, really well in the exchanges with Poi. But overall, you have Meltier, Syuri, and Inaba in the ring. It's not going to be a bad match.
No, and I thought this match was excellent. My favorite match of this show. I thought, Inaba, she looked really good with the technical wrestling stuff, and that's the point in the beginning. And then as it was ramping up, it got to the more strike-heavy stuff with her and Tam. So you get that you basically saw 3 different sides of her. You got to see her technical wrestling with Natsupoi, the striking stuff with Tam, and I think her and Sherry, who basically are kind of like a makeshift team going into this tournament. She basically joins God's Eye, and then you're like, well, maybe that's Sherry's going to be Sherry's partner for the tournament. And this is only, I think, like their 3rd match. I'm just thoroughly impressed by what I've seen by these two as a tag team. And obviously, me being a tag team wrestler, and I'm just a huge fan of really, really good tag teams. If Sherry drops the belt at the end of this year, I would love to see her and Inaba be like a normal, teaming up quite a bit on the show. So I would love to see like maybe a tag title match. You play this one back, or or them versus the New Eras, or them versus Black Desire, or playing back off the draw from night one, or them versus Miami. There's so many kind of dream matches that you can have with Shuri and Abe after Shuri drops the belt at the end of this year to keep her busy and keep her at the top of the card. But what they're doing at Karate Brave, just 3 matches in, I'm just completely blown away just by how good their chemistry is, their timing is, and their ring positioning as a tag team. Because all it takes is just a half a step off, or a half a second off, or a half of blink off, and it can kind of throw things off just a little bit. And I thought they've been super solid in all 3 of their matches. If I'm just going to be a little bit nitpicky, we've seen Tam win a lot of matches with the Violent Screwdriver at the end of this year. So I was kind of hoping maybe she'd win a few more matches with the Twilight Dream. She didn't win it. She won with the Tiger Suplex. Again, I'm just being really, really nitpicky. I'd like to see her start winning some more matches with the Twilight Dream. But all in all, I thoroughly enjoyed this match, sir, and I gave this one a solid 4 stars.
Yeah, you liked it a little bit more than me. I gave it 3.5. I thought it's a really good main event match. Again, you mentioned how we saw like 2 sides of an arbor, and you're absolutely right. And not only was it the technical wrestling with Natsupoi and then matching the strikes with Tam, I thought it was really impressive how she kept up with Natsupoi as well, because Natsupoi is incredibly quick in ring. I mean, that's her whole thing, really. Very athletic, very quick. So for Inaba to match that and then to be able to obviously match strikes, which you get the impression that she's more comfortable with Tam, I think she showed off fantastic potential. I think both her and Natsupoi are incredible baby faces in peril. I think you want to sort of back them. And I think that worked really well in this match. I thought Shuri didn't actually do a lot in this match. A lot of it was in Arbor. But overall, a really enjoyable match. I would like to see Inaba do more stuff in Stardom, but obviously she's got commitments with other companies. She's a champion in Just Tap Out. So I'm hoping that Stardom are able to work something out, because, as I've said on this podcast multiple times, Inaba is definitely a star for the future. Let's move on then to night 5, which was Saturday the 12th of November 2022 in Seigai City Gymnasium in front of 326 people. And we opened with the Goddess of Stardom Tag League 2022 Blue Goddess match. Mai Himi moving to 4 points, defeating Wingori, who was still pointless, with Himika pinning Sayurida, stacking her up with a powerbomb in 8 minutes and 48 seconds. Serviceable enough opener, Matt. I think it was pretty much a foregone conclusion that Mai Himi, who we've both got as winning the tournament, were going to pick up a win here.
Yeah, well, you said Saeed and Han are pointless. That was just mean. I don't think they're pointless. They don't have any points, but they're not pointless. Come on, Rob. Let's be positive here. This is your team. You're all about it. You're like, yeah, Matt, you got it. Well, I'm all about Wing Gory. You're like, damn right. Yeah. Yeah, this is really good. Obviously, you have 3 really hard hitters in there with Mike and Himika and Saya Ida. And then you have Hana, who I thought like her offense in this match was really, really good. Obviously, she's the undersized person in this match, but she basically uses that judo background and uses Mike and Himika's own like weight and momentum against them to like kind of get her advantages and kind of get like breaks from the onslaught of offense that is Mai Himi. So I thought that was really, really cool how she, weave that into her offensive arsenal. Just another little quirk that makes Hanan just such a great wrestler at only the age of 18. Blows my mind. But yeah, I mean, it was serviceable. Great opener, really solid opener. Less than 9 minutes, they got everything done. And that concussion bomb on poor Saya Ida was just absolutely brutal. I mean, it looked like her head got like a basketball player dribbling a basketball off the parquet floor. Looked like her head just bounced up twice. Solid finish, great match. I have this at 3.5 stars and just a really, really good opener.
I had it at 3.25. Going back to that powerbomb, it looked for a moment like Himika wasn't going to get all of it. Like when she initially got Sayurida up, it looked like she hadn't quite got it, and then obviously power kicked in and she was able to hoist her up and hit her with it. But I'll never not be impressed by by that powerbomb, especially on someone who is, Sayurida's short, so it seems even more of a distance to fall. But again, My Himi looking strong as they march on in this tournament. Wingori still without a point, let's say, rather than pointless.
Without a point, that's my man.
But I do wonder where that first point is coming from and who they are going to upset, because you do get the impression that they are going to get a point. You would have thought it would have come against O2 Line, but obviously O2 Line got the win over them. So I'm excited to see who they spoil or who they're able to go to a time limit draw and it stops them getting into the final. I'm intrigued.
Well, I take it you didn't watch any of these show on the 13th then?
No.
Oh. You'll know as soon as you see it because Waka's in the match. So.
Oh, okay.
I'm not spoiling anything for you because yesterday I was like, well, I know we're going to review the show from the 13th. So as soon as I got home from work, I'm like, gotta do some stuff for the podcast. And I text you and I'm like, hey man, there's only 3 matches on this show. There's only 3 matches that are up. I'm like, oh, I guess we're not, so I watched them. Of course they were all great, but yeah, you won't, as soon as I saw the graphic come up, I was like, oh, okay, that's where they'll get there. So I'm not spoiling anything. So, but you can watch that later. So anyway.
Yeah. Saki's not getting another point in this tackle, is she?
Poor Saki. He was like, oh, I might get like 7-8 points. I'm teaming with Mina. Mina's a hot topic right now. She's got that white belt match coming up. And yeah, we'll get some points in it. Yeah, you get Waka. It's like, yeah, okay. Well, at least she's not eating any pinfalls. So, that's again, it's me. It's Mr. Positive here. Let's put the positive. It's like, all right, because like Mina may eat 1 fall, but like the rest of those falls, it was all on Saki. At least Saki's like, well, I know we're not going to win any, but I know I'm not going to be eating any falls.
Absolutely. She's going to be the strongest person in this tournament. We move on then. Match 2, another blue block match with BMI 2000 moving to 6 points, defeating O2 Line, obviously Miyu Amasaki and Azumi, who remain on 2 points, with Natsuko pinning Miyu Amasaki with the Swanton Bomb in 9 minutes and 22 seconds. Big fan of the opening of this match with Ruaka and Natsuko hiding at the side of the stage and then beating up O2 Line when they came out. Miyu Amasaki looked good, aside from one shaky-looking drop kick to the leg, but other than that, I thought all 4 women did really well. Natsuko looked like an absolute brute, and we had that sort of tandem finish again, which I'm a fan of.
Yeah, I'm also a big fan. One of my favorite part in the match is Ruaka brings in the evil suitcase, briefcase thing, lunchbox things that we hate, and it backfired. It backfired on him, and I bet on the falsie.
Yeah, so did I.
Tori eats it, and then Miyu does that. Really, she needs to start winning matches with that roll up where she does like almost like a pump handle O'Connor roll into like the Backlund Bridge. It's like so impressive, and she always hits it like right in the middle of the ring. And I'm a big fan of how her and Azumi have been working that in their matches, where someone will have Miyu for like a waist lock, like she's gonna eat a German suplex or something. She'll duck, but she'll keep wrist control. Azumi will hit that really awesome high head kick. And then Miyu, she'll spin out, and then she'll keep the wrist control to do the pump handle. I would love to see them win some matches with that, but I bit really, really hard on the falsie. But ultimately, yeah, BMI 2000, 6 points. So they're on a roll. I don't know if they had a pinfall loss yet, because I know they lost their first match via disqualification to Mina and Saki, who we just talked about. But I don't know if they've been pinned at all in this tournament.
No, not as of yet. They're on a 4 match if you include the 13th. No spoilers. But yeah, I do wonder if they will start losing points. I don't see them making the final, especially when you consider who they've got left in that tag league. In their block, they've still got Micah and Himika left, and they've still got the new eras as well. So they've still got the 2 strongest teams. I do wonder if they'll start. But again, do you know what? I'm happy with how strongly they've been booked. I'm happy they're winning matches properly instead of just getting DQ'd for no reason. I'm glad that was just a one-time thing. And again, you can weave in the narrative that was because Mina had messed up Natsuko knee. I was a big fan of, in this match, when Natsuko kicked out of a pinfall from Miyu, and Miyu went straight for the knee and went straight into that really cool-looking knee bar. Really, really cool transition into that. And again, that sort of shows that improvement in ring of Miyu Amasaki. Overall, decent match, 3.25 stars, Matt.
Yeah, same for me, 3.25 stars, sir.
We move on to yet another blue block match. This time, the new era's moving to 3 points, defeating the newly rechristened Waka Wild, who remain with 2 points, with Mirai getting the pinfall over bless her, poor Waka Tsukiyama, with the Miramare shock in 9 minutes and 46 seconds. Waka took a lot of heat in this match, which obviously she's going to, unfortunately, but overall, I really quite enjoyed this match.
Yeah, I thought this was really good. I was a big fan of, like, when the bell rang, Waka, like, wanted Ami. It's like, no, you're the biggest person in the match. I want it. She comes out, like, really fast and has an advantage for, like, 3-4 seconds, and that advantage quickly goes away. I was like, oh, poor Waka. Like, just taking a beating. And then, like, after Ami beats on her, then Mirai beats on her. And then, like, you know what? That's not enough. You beat on her, I beat on her. We need to beat on her together, which obviously is smart. You're trying to get, you know, the former number one contenders over in this tournament, so with more tag stuff. What I liked in this match is there was a ton of Mirai, which I thought, you know, no disrespect to the other three ladies, I think Mirai is the best worker as far as what I like in wrestling between everybody in the match. So I thought there was a lot of Mirai, especially when they Saki got tagged in. There was some really good exchanges with Saki and Mirai. And again, that's a match I would like to see somewhere down the line. But ultimately, Rob, I mean, we're not fooling anybody. We all know what the finish of this match is going to be, and that's with poor Waka looking up at the lights, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a serviceable match. It's decent enough. New eras are going to have far more of a challenge in this tag league. I thought Saki looked decent enough. I think there's still a few little chemistry problems between Saki and Waka, which is absolutely to be expected considering Waka's been inserted halfway through the tag league. But it was decent enough. New eras get the 2 points, which is incredibly important as they move up the tag league block. I gave it 3.25 stars.
That was 3.5.
Let's move on then to match 4, our first red block match of the night, and it's our debut of Peach Rock in the tournament, with Mayu Iwatani and Momo Kogo getting their first victory, moving to 2 points, defeating My Fair Lady, who remain on 0, with Mayu pinning Lady C with the Dodonpa in 7 minutes and 39 seconds. And if I could sum up this match in a word, Matt, it would be fine. It was fine. I think all 4 women are going to have better matches. Nothing was bad in this match whatsoever. There was a couple of entertaining moments, but overall, it was solid, but nothing really stood out. I think, is that a fair assessment of this match?
I'm going to I liked it a little bit. I'm going to assume I liked it more than you. I thought my Sakurai and Lady C, we talked about it a few minutes earlier, all of a sudden they're starting to gel. Not slowly gelling, like how like Tam and Arisa did in the 2019 Goddess at Stardom tournament, where like they're slowly kind of just getting better. They're just like, no, there's going to be no heat with us. But like that was kind of like the B story. To me, the A story, and I don't know why I was even shocked, is how good Mayu and Momo work together. Like obviously we've seen them in the tag matches and 6-person and 8-person. All year round, like whenever Mayu is in there doing some double team stuff or triple team stuff. I thought her and Momo Kogo, and I'm a little bit older than you, Rob, but literally as they got done with their first and second sequence of double team moves, I wrote down they remind me of the first time I saw the Rockers together. They just how fast they were. How it was like, don't blink, don't take a breath. How they were just hitting one thing after another. Great timing. They were complementing each other. They were using each other. They were using each other's singles moves to make the double team moves look better. I was completely blown away. And I don't even know why I'm surprised. One, it's Mayu. She's one of the greatest ever and one of the best wrestlers in the world today. And Momo Kogo is somebody that's improving with every outing. These two together were just absolutely fantastic. I mean, you take a look at this loaded tournament. Obviously you have Meltier, you have FWC, you have Momo and Starlight Kid, you have the New Errors, you have Maihimi. So you have all these great teams that you're kind of just looking at, and then it's like, oh man, like Mayu and Momo Kogo might be the team that absolutely steal the show in this tournament for me. I thought Mayu and Momo completely. I had this match at 3.25 stars, but I bumped it up a 1/4 star just for how much I loved how in sync Mayu and Momo were. I had 3.5 stars, and I'm just so again, no disrespect to My Fair Lady, but they're not going to be racking up a whole ton of points. But I'm really excited. This is kind of like okay, this is what we're going to give you with Peach Rock or Peach Thunder, excuse me. And or did I have that right? Is it Peach Rock?
It is Peach Rock, yes.
Okay, I was right the first time. Peach Rock. So this is what we're giving you with Peach Rock, and just think about how better the matches are going to be when they have better opponents. It's no disrespect. to my fair lady. But yeah, I'm super excited to see what Mayu and Momo are going to do as this tournament continues.
I think maybe I've taken the chemistry between Mayu and Momo perhaps a little bit for granted. But you're absolutely right. The chemistry between them is really, really good. And I wonder if it's a case of Momo. Her wrestling style is incredibly similar to Mayu's. And you can see that she takes a lot of influence from the way she wrestles from Mayu Iwatani. And I do wonder if that's why they've got such a good chemistry, because they are so similar. But you're absolutely right. I think, especially as this is their first match in the tag league, they've still got, I think, 65 matches to go. I believe there's 6 in a block. So, I imagine we're going to see better matches and, even better chemistry. I'm really looking forward to seeing them versus Mafia Bella. That's going to be a really, really good match. I gave it 3 stars. Again, it was fine. But, perhaps it needs another watch from me.
Yeah, and Peach Thunder is the name of Momo Watanabe's nuclear finish. So I got that confused because there's another Momo in the match.
There
Folks,
you go.
that's what happens when you get hit in the head as many times as I do. We're all jumbled up in there.
Match 5 was our only non-tag league match of the night. It was a 3-way tag team match with Meltier and Karate Brave and FWC, ending in a 15-minute time limit draw. Matt, as soon as I realised that all 3 of these teams were actual teams in the tag league, I knew we were going to a time limit draw.
Of course. Of course. And you have like 3 of the best teams here.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, Meltier is the champions. FWC, they won this tournament last year. And maybe the Stardom Tag Team of the Year for 2022. And Karate Brave, again, only been teaming just for a little bit, and they're absolutely overachieving in every aspect. So this was a damn good match, despite we know how this was going to finish. So the one thing I thought was funny is you had the Koguma race was like early on in the match where everybody was like chasing after her, and she was trying to get in the ring, and the biggest badass in this company, Shuri, was trying to block her from getting in the ring. So Koguma was like almost like a point guard trying to dribble in between 2 defenders to get to the basket, and here's Shuri like Shaquille O'Neal 7-3, like trying to deny her from getting back to the ring. I thought that was so hilarious. It was only for like a second or two, like she went to the left, she went to the right, and then eventually Koguma just went all the way around to the other side of the ring. Was like, no, I'd rather run another 20 feet than have to not be stopped by Shuri. I thought that was great. Really solid effort between all 3 teams. I mean, they did a really good job highlighting the double teams between all 3 teams, and they threw in a little bit of psychology. And then, of course, we saw some really, really good stuff with Hazuki and Hazuki and Tam, and then some really good stuff with Hazuki and Shuri. So obviously, a Hazuki Shuri match is something that I definitely want to see somewhere down the future. And Natsupoi did her job as per usual. We knew this was going to happen. What was more? All right, I'm getting all over the place here. What was more telegraphed, the time limit draw, or the fact that you had all these, you know what I'm going to say? You have all these heavy hitters in this match that Natsupoi wasn't going to get beat down? Or did you just like, we're going to get both of them? We're going to get a 2-for-1 deal on this one.
The only way that this could have been worse was if they'd have put My Himi in as well and just watched them lariat the hell out of her. Bless Natsupoi. Whenever I see a name on the run sheet now, I just assume she's going to get the absolute bejesus beaten out of her. But yeah, it was a good match. I preferred the 50-minute time limit draw from the previous night, but that's just personal preference. This was still a really, really, really solid match. I think I enjoy the Koguma comedy stuff when she doesn't do it every single show, and she hasn't been. So when this happened, and obviously you got Shuri trying to block her, and Koguma's dawning realization that these people are catching me, but also don't really want to get into the ring with Shuri. I did enjoy that. But yeah, overall, I gave it 3 3/4 stars. It was a good match. It was good to see all 3 teams get another outing to gel even more, especially Karate Brave, who going into this, the only team in that match that weren't a team prior. And again, they don't seem out of place in this tag league, highlighting just how good Inaba is and how good the chemistry is between her and Shuri. What did you give it, Matt?
I had a 3.5 stars, so you liked a little bit more than I did.
I did.
So you liked the Meltier match better than I did, folks. Maybe the yin and the yang is it because I gave the live performance 19 stars, and I think you only gave it like 2. So maybe that's Maybe that's where we're making that up. I don't know. But yes, a solid outing, though. Say.
I'm just evening out the odds. Yeah, absolutely. Our semi-main then saw more red block action from the tag league, with Mafia Bella moving to 6 points, defeating the We Love Tokyo Sports team of Fukigen Death and Saki Kashima, who stay on 2 points, with Julia submitting Saki with the Stealth Viper in 7 minutes on the nose. I so wish that Julia hadn't won the 5-star, because I want Mafia Bella to win this tag league. Like, we talk about chemistry, and obviously I know that there's a huge history between Tekla and Julia, but their chemistry as Mafia Bella, the fact that they come out in varying costumes and just look like utter badasses every time they go to the ring. Think about how Tekla was before the injury. Very over the top, very, almost too into the matches at times. And here she's far more subdued, and she looks like she would kick your ass at the drop of a hat. And I absolutely love it. I love their dynamic. I love their look. I love their chemistry. They're not winning the tag league, but that upsets me, Matt.
Yeah, really, really good match. I was kind of hoping that maybe would have been a little bit more of, again, the ultimate. You have the winner of the biggest tournament of the year in Julia and a returning Tekla, just looking absolutely badass against the two biggest spoilers in this company with roll-ups on the same team. And I thought they could have teased some roll-ups a little bit more. I thought they could have teased the Kishika side. They could have teased the O'Connor roll. And they really, really didn't. This was basically, they would kind of get their cheap heat in. Saki did some cool stuff. Fukin Death did some really cool stuff. She did the Jinsei Sasaki Undertaker walk on all four corners, which I thought was super, super impressive, especially when the fact she's in that makeup and that giant clown suit. Like, I just think that's just like the most athletic thing like ever. But then like after that, it was just like Mafia Bella. I mean, I guess you're going to get these two over. You're going to do it this way, just Mafia Bella and just basically kicking the crap out of them. And then Julia's like, okay, that's enough. We're about almost 7 minutes in, walking the Stealth Viper, and let's take it home. So yeah, it served its purpose. I would have liked a little bit more false finishes between the Oedo Tai team, because that's kind of their bread and butter. But ultimately, just Julia and Tekla just kicking ass. So I had said 3 stars.
Yeah, I'm the same, 3 stars. Absolutely right. Unfortunately, this was very much a sort of cookie cutter match. You sort of put it in a nutshell, really. We Love Tokyo Sports. You expect them to beat the bigger teams with the roll-ups. They are those spoilers. And at no point did I think they were winning this match. And they weren't really given an opportunity to either. You usually get, one big sort of biting on a kick out. But you didn't really get that here from either woman, which is a bit of a shame, but that is counteracted by the fact that it was won with the Stealth Viper, which is horrifically underused as a finisher. Let's move on then to our main event, which was a red block match with Aphrodite moving on to 4 points, defeating Black Desire, who stay on 1 point, with Utami pinning Momo with the hijack bomb in 30 minutes and 42 seconds. First of all, Matt, are you surprised at Black Desire's slow start to the tournament, and do you still see them as challengers?
Yeah, a little bit, but at the same time, it's like, well, who do you beat? We were literally a week away, when this match happened, a week away from these two being in 2 of the biggest matches of the year, in the semi-main and the main event of the Gold Rush. So it's like, you kind of can't beat them there, but you figure maybe they would have picked up a win or 2 beforehand. But I will say this, sir, between this match, and again, I know you have not watched anything from the 13th, so between this match and the first 3 matches from the 13th, this tournament went from good, really good, to very good and excellent. Because I thought this match was absolutely unbelievable. And then wait till you see the next 3 matches of the next day. I think this tournament, from this point on, just stepped. And it wasn't, by no means was it bad. Like I said, it was good to very good. And now it just went from very good to excellent. Because to me, this is the match to beat for the tournament. I absolutely love this match. Would I be, I don't want to say wrong because it's just my opinion, but am I off my kilter here by saying this, Rob, that as of right now, 5 nights into this tournament, that this is the match to beat?
Tournament-wise, I'd say there are very few that come close to it. I don't think it's the best tag match of the year, but it's certainly match of the tournament or top 3, definitely. Off the top of my head, I can't think of a single one that beats it, but I have got a really bad memory. You look at who's in this match. Utami and Momo have had really, really, really good singles matches. Saya and Starlight have had 2 really good matches this year. And again, that chemistry paid off here as well. There was one ropey moment where Saya attempted the Ric Flair sort of flop over the corner, and it just did not work at all. She covered for it well in the end, but it was a moment where it was like, oh, go on, get over it, go on. There we go. It sort of lost its impact somewhat, but overall, I thought this match was really, really, really well wrestled, and obviously Utami getting that sort of cathartic little pinfall over Momo after Momo turned her back on Queen's Quest was a nice touch. It does feel like they are building Starlight Kid towards this white belt picture, despite the fact that she's already lost to Saya Kamatani. It does feel like Am I just out of my mind, or did it feel like they were building towards that again?
No, you're absolutely right, because at the very end, Saya had the belt, and then Starlight Kid put her foot on the belt, and Saya paused just to make sure. You see out the corner of her eye, she wanted to make sure that the cameras and the photography got that photo, and then they kind of had a little banter. Because again, and obviously we'll talk about it here soon, is not unless your opinion changed, but I think me and you both have Saya retaining the belt this weekend over Kyrie, which makes you think, well, then what's the match going to be? What's her match going to be at Dream Queendom? And maybe they run this Starlight Kid match back. Now, if you remember, when Saya Kamatani won the belt from Tam last year, correct me if I'm wrong, Rob, you would know because you wrote a book about it, Living the Dream, Stardom 10th Anniversary in Review. Saya, halfway through Tam's run, not even halfway, early on in the run, Saya challenged Tam for the belt and lost. And then she comes back and then wins it. So they may be doing the similar story with Starlight Kid there. Now, whether she'll win or not, I don't know. But it seems like there's unfinished business there. But this was what was great. There was a lot of great about this match. First of all, the crowd absolutely loved it, which, again, that's at the end of the day, the end of your match, that's what you want. Whether you hit the spots or not, whether you're off on something or not, if the crowd is into it, then that's your main goal. When the crowd, when you take them on that emotional roller coaster, and when you get the 3 count or the tap out, or it's Stardom time limit draw, and the crowd is going as hot as they were in this one, that's what you want. But you had almost mini matches with Utami versus Momo, which was great. Which again, that's the singles match that we've been waiting on for nearly a year, and hopefully they pull the trigger on Dream Queendom, because I just think that card is just going to be insane. And then you have the kind of like the rematch from one of the matches of the year with Saya Kamatani and Starlight Kid, and then you have just like the Oedo Tai team, the evil team of Momo and Starlight Kid really beating down Utami, and then Saya Kamatani comes in with basically it's a 2-part move set that makes the save. She's the double Hurricanrana on Momo and Starlight Kid. They feed out to the outside, and then Saya Kamatani does that picture perfect springboard plancha, which then basically gives Utami enough time to kind of recuperate. And then Aphrodite, they go in there with their double team moves, and then ultimately leading to the hijack bomb on Momo for the win. So you kind of almost have a tale of like 3 different matches sprinkled in there with some really good psychology, some nonstop action, and the really, really hot crowd. And again, this was not my tag match of the year. There might have been 2 or 3 better, but as far as this tournament goes, this is to me the match to beat. I had this at 4.5 stars. Absolutely loved it.
Wow, you liked it significantly more than me. I put it as 4 stars, but I think at the moment it's my only tournament match to reach 4 stars. The chemistry between the 4, as I've already mentioned, is absolutely fantastic. I think the right team won as well. I'm intrigued as to where Black Desire goes. I did have them as real contenders. I think I had them winning the block, actually. So again, Rob's predictions coming to fruition once more.
What a guy.
Oh, mate, honestly, if you want a nailed-on pick, just go with the opposite of whoever I pick.
So when Rob comes to the States and we have a hangout, we're going to go to the casino. We're going to go to roulette. I'm going to put $1,000 down. I'm like, Rob, red or black, whatever he says, I'm going the opposite.
Always,
you're going to make me a rich man, buddy.
So, just quickly then, obviously we are missing a day in terms of night 6, but at the moment, in terms of tournament block standings, at the top of red block are Aphrodite, who currently sit on 8 points. Again, spoilers for night 6. If you don't want to listen, just skip ahead a couple of minutes.
We have 2 matches on night 6 too.
They do. So they win both of them. Spoilers. And Mafia Bella are 2 points behind in second. Aphrodite have still got Meltier, Mafia Bella, and Karate Brave to face.
Jesus Christ, I love this company. Oh my God.
So,
I like wrestling a lot, Rob. I don't know if you can tell.
In terms of blue block, at the top of the block is Natsukatora and Ruaka with 8 points. They've only got 2 matches left. They've got the New Eras and 7-Up, the team of Naoya Takahashi and Yu. And they're well ahead. In second place, quite a bit back, are 2 teams with 4 points, which is FWC and Micah and Himika. Micah and Himika, they've still got FWC to face. They've still got O2 Line. They've still got Wakazukiyama and Saki. I can't remember what they're called.
No, they changed their name to Automatic 2 points for the other team. I think that's the name of the team. So rude. How dare I?
And then they've also got 7-Up as well. So FWC have still got Wingori, My Himi, the New Eras. I think it would be an interesting story beat if it's Wingori that stop FWC getting through. Because obviously they're Stars teams. And obviously this happened with Sayurida and Hazuki in the 5-star. So,
yes,
little interesting story beat there. So, I mean, at the moment, May Sakurai and Lady C are still without a point. They've still got 4 matches left. And we've got, who else is in with a shot? Meltier are currently at 4 points, but they've only had 3 matches so far. So they've still got a good chance of getting through as well. And then obviously the New Eras are at 3. And
Did Meltier get bonus points for their concert? Like, did they get bonus points in the tournament for that? Because if that's what it is, just give them the trophy.
Well, actually, what happened was they were given 5 extra points, but then because Tam can't sing, they took them off again.
Shut it down. Shut this down. Oh, my God. Your feed must have been on a buffer.
So, obviously, we have got 2 huge pay-per-views on the horizon, back-to-back. The 19th will see Gold Rush, and then, of course, the historic crossover show, which will be taking place on the 20th, of November. So, we're going to do a little bit of a preview show of these now, literally giving our predictions, what we think is going to happen, and things like that. And then I'll sort of run through when, in terms of scheduling, when our reviews for these are going to go up. So we'll start with Gold Rush. Let me just run through the card really quickly, and then we'll talk about some of the matches and talk about our predictions moving forward. So we've got a 3-way tag with Lady C and Miyu Amasaki taking on Sayurida and Momo Kogo, and then BMI 2000. We've then got 2 Goddess of Stardom tag league matches. We've got Black Desire versus We Love Tokyo Sports, and we've got My Himi and 7-Up. Then, we've got the Moneyball Championship match. So it's a tournament. We have got the DDM team of Mai Sakurai, Julia, and Tekla taking on the Cosmic Angels team of Tam, Natsupoi, and Waka. And then on the other side of the bracket, we have got the Stars team of Mayu, Hazuki, and Koguma taking on the God's Eye team of Tomoko Inaba, Mirai, and Amisori. And then we've got the final, which is a tables, ladders, and chairs Moneyball match, which that's just going to be absolute chaos. And we'll go through who we think is going to win and who we think is going to win the 10 million yen. We've then got a high-speed match between Azumi and Momoka Hanazona, who's a 22-year-old freelancer who has worked in Oz Academy. She's their current Pioneer champion as well, and she's also wrestled in Kaliga Pro Wrestling. And then our 2 main matches. What a pair of matches we've got headlining this pay-per-view. Saya Kamitani versus Kairi for the Wonder of Stardom Championship, and then for the World of Stardom Championship, the rematch of the feud of the year last year, Syuri versus Utami Hayashishita for the World of Stardom Championship. Let's start with the sort of tournament that is going to be the backbone of this pay-per-view. So we start, Matt, with DDM versus Cosmic Angels. Who do you see winning that match and progressing to the TLC match?
I think it's got to be DDM. I think had Mina not got hurt, I think that this whole thing was built for the Cosmic Angels to win the whole thing, but it's kind of like the inside gimmick for Waka to keep losing. However, if you're going to give Waka her first win, maybe you do it here, and then maybe you have her grab the money ball thing.
Oh,
at the
stop
end.
it. That would be lovely.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, that would be lovely.
I didn't even think about it until like it literally just came into my head. That's a real possibility. We talked about her probably getting her first win at Dream Queendom. But what if you're just like, no, we're going to double down. We're going to have her get a win here and then have her grab the wow, what a better way to get Waka over that one little hump that she can't get over. Because she's great in every aspect except for that big goose egg she has on the left of her record. Man, maybe I just talked myself out of this, but I guess to be like the sure bet, DDM. But maybe, oh boy, oh man, I just put stuff in your head, didn't I?
Oh man, don't do this to me.
Rob's
I'll
gonna hurt his foot. Rob's gonna hurt his foot again, folks.
I'm there. I'm doing the dance now. I mean, it's a TLC match in the final. Why would you not want to see Natsupoi in that? And obviously, Tam she's had experience in death matches. I think she'd be great in a TLC match. To have that team of Cosmic Angels and then whoever they face in the final, just for the record, I think it's going to be Stars, to face off in that TLC match. Everyone be down in the ring and Waka be the one to get that money ball. Oh my God, what a story. What a story.
And you're going to have so many people watching this show, just for how many different people have flown in all over the world for the New Japan Stardom show. So a lot of people are going to be going to this. The pay-per-view buy is going to be really high just based on the two main events. So maybe that's where you give Waka her ultimate feel-good moment. Oh man, folks. Wow, might be Wakamania next week here.
Wakamania running wild.
Brother.
Running co-wild, am I right?
Yes. I'm standing up, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, Rob Goodwin.
Thank you, guys. I honestly do think now, damn you, Matt Turner, I do believe that could be such a great story beat. I mean, the decent money is on DDM. You've got Julia, you've got Tekla, and obviously they're building Mai Sakurai up. But I can't not think about Natsupoi on a ladder. I just think that would be, she proved last year that she's willing to do completely ridiculous stuff off a ladder, as is Mayu, which is why I think they're getting through to the final as well, spoiler. But that would be an incredible. Do you know what? I'm going for it. Waka.
Yeah.
Waka. Waka to win. So yeah, you've got DDM, I've got Cosmic Angels. I can't tell if this is a clever ploy from you, Matt. A clever ploy.
Clever and Matt Turner usually don't go together, buddy. So.
And then on the other side of the bracket, obviously we've got the Stars team of Mayu, Hazuki, and Koguma taking on Tomoka Inaba, Mirai, and Amisori. Much as I love, especially the new eras, and much as I love what I've seen of Inaba, I just feel like a TLC match is far more Stars. You look at those three, Mayu, even though they're going to have to try and protect her because she's got the biggest match potentially of her career the next night. So yes, I am putting Mayu in a TLC match the night before she takes on Kairi. But I do think that Stars win that. In the main event, yes, of a New Japan show. The first women to main event a New Japan show. And I've got her doing...
Okada the Great Muda on it. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, and I've got Mayu doing stupid shit off a ladder. It wouldn't surprise me if Stars went through. Even if Mayu doesn't do a great deal, you've still got Koguma and you've still got Hazuki. I'm plumping for Stars, personally. What about you, Matt?
To your point, I really, really do. I do, and I understand you can kind of keep Mayu to do like one or two things. But at the same time, do you want Mayu to do one or two things? You know what I mean? Because if she gets hurt, those Bushi Road people are going to be all over the brass over at Stardom. Do you really take your chance with that? It'd be one thing if like this was the main event or this was like the show was being built around, but obviously you have the 3 title matches, especially the last 2, that's what you're really making your money on. So to the shock of everybody, including me, Rob, I'm going to disagree with you on this one. I'm going to have the God's Eye team going up against DDM in the Moneyball match.
Oh, wow. So we're completely different for this then.
Completely different. Yes, sir.
Okay. That's absolutely fine. You're wrong.
Right.
You're wrong, but that's absolutely fine. Yeah,
it's like me being at home. You know, I'm used to it. I'm not all this is easier. Yeah, I know. Yeah, okay, I'm wrong. Want my credit card? Or do you want to leave me alone?
So that leaves us to the final. Obviously, I've got Stars taking on Cosmic Angels in the TLC match. You've got DDM versus God's Eye. You've managed to talk me somehow into Waka Tsukiyama without a single victory in the last 18 months, winning this huge match. So, do you know what? I'm going for that.
All in.
Yeah, Cosmic Angels to beat Stars, man. What about you?
I'm going to go with, just because I just don't see Julia winning anything else big again, not because she doesn't need it. So I think just out of process of elimination, I think it's going to be the God's Eye team winning the whole thing.
You think it's going to be God's Eye?
Yes.
Okay. Interesting. Let's move on to the title matches then. So I think we're both... I've seen very, very little, if anything, of Momoka Hanazono, but obviously with her being a freelancer, I don't see her taking the belt off Azumi, especially as Azumi's very close to the record of combined title defenses. I don't see her dropping the belt anyway, but I don't see her dropping it to a freelancer, Matt. Is that just me?
No, I'm with you. And I've never seen anybody. I have seen very little of Azumi's opponent. And by all means, folks, if you listen to this on a Friday, the pay-per-view is Saturday morning. Send us some links. Send us some YouTube stuff. Let us, so this way we can get more familiar. But I think this match is going to be great because the last time Azumi wrestled a freelancer for the high-speed belt was Mesaruga. And that, to me, was the best Azumi title defense since she's won the belt, in my opinion. So I'm excited to see what she's going to do here. And it's really nice to see when you have like the 3 big titles back to back to back to close the show, because I think Sherry, Sai Kamatani, and Azumi, that 1-3 punch that Stardom has this year going out of their pay-per-views just basically turns their pay-per-views into another level that no other wrestling company, in my opinion, can compete on. So I'm excited to see it, but if you want my prediction, me and you will agree, sir. The high-speed bomb girl will be retaining.
Okay, so let's move on to our 2 main events. And I think it's fair to say that these are of equal standing. Saya Kamatani versus Kairi for the Wonder of Stardom Championship. Matt, talk me through it.
Well, sir, I mean, a lot of people think that they don't think Kairi's eating 2 pinfalls. They think she's coming out of here with 1 or 2 belts. I think it's got to be Saya Kamatani. I think either that or you do a time limit draw here and then you run it back at Dream Queendom. Because again, what match is going to be bigger? You want to put your biggest matches on that show. That's your WrestleMania. That's your Wrestle Kingdom. That's your Super Bowl. So it's like, what's going to be bigger than Saya versus Kairi? I thought they would have held this off for Dream Queendom, but maybe they do a time limit draw and they run it back, or Kairi wins. I mean, Stardom never does this. Maybe Kairi wins the belt and Saya, because she's on this all-time reign, gets an automatic rematch and then wins the belt back at Dream Kingdom. That's a possibility they can go with because they've never done it before. But I'm just going to say I think it's Saya Kamatani. And a lot of people are disagreeing with me. Well, I think Saya's win. I wouldn't be shocked if it's Kairi, but I just think it would mean more for Kairi to put Saya over. Really putting the stamp of approval on everything behind Saya Kamatani.
I see your point. I think it's Kairi. I'm 60-40 on whether it is going to be a time limit draw or Kairi wins, because I don't feel like she's winning the IWGP Women's Championship.
Oh, look who's came over to Camp Mayu, folks.
I'm sorry, the SWA title isn't part of it anymore, so it negates my argument. If you look at the promo that Kairi cut during the press conference, like proper, almost heelish, and I think you've brought Kairi back as this icon, this special attraction, to then lose back to back. I don't think. I think there's better ways to do it. I think if Kairi wins the belt here, and then you start this storyline of Saya, desperate to beat Kairi, it's always been Saya and Kairi. Wouldn't that be better, more cathartic moment than to see Saya win it back from Kairi in a couple of months' time? I wouldn't be disappointed if Saya keeps it. I definitely wouldn't be. But there's something about this matchup that tells me I don't see Kairi losing back-to-back. On back-to-back nights as well. I just don't see it. She's winning one of the nights, and my heart and my head are telling me she doesn't win a historic crossover. It has to be Mayu. So I'm going for a time limit draw.
Oh.
I'm going for a time limit draw. The more I've thought about it, the more I don't see Saya dropping it, but it's more I don't see Kairi losing than I don't see Saya dropping it. So I'm gonna literally sit on the fence. I'm gonna call it a time limit draw.
Yeah. Here's another thing too, Robin. We touched on base on it a little bit a few weeks ago. With that Mina match and that Mina promo. We barely talked about the Mina promo. In my opinion, the greatest promo in the history of Stardom. The one backstage. You have lightning in a bottle, and you have a big superstar when Mina comes back, and the whole thing is she wants that white belt. But then, I might be talking myself out of it. So, they got to put the white belt on Mina sometime in 2023. But does it mean more to beat Saya Kamatani, or does it mean more to beat Kairi? Oh, there's a crux in it too. So I think it would maybe mean more to beat what is maybe the greatest white belt champion of all time in Saya Kamatani. But I don't know. We're kind of splitting hairs here. So that is obviously the match that maybe, again, I've watched and I think you have as well. I watched every Stardom match this year. This is the hardest match going into to predict, as it was going into Stardom X Stardom as well. The match was originally supposed to happen. But now it's even harder to pick because let me ask you this, if Kairi did not have this match with Mayu, say Kairi wasn't in the tournament and it was Mayu versus Toni Storm, I'm just throwing it out there, and Kairi wasn't even on that card at all, would you think Kairi's winning the belt? Or are you just leaning towards it because you don't think Kairi's dropping two matches back to back?
So if Kairi hadn't have made it through to the final in a historic crossover, Saya would win it.
Yeah.
Because beating Kairi cement Saya's legacy. And I feel like at 24, that's a huge thing. Kairi, at however old she is, I think she's early 30s, can do a lot of good for other wrestlers with who she loses to. And I think losing to Saya to cement Saya's legacy with this white belt could be huge for Saya. I just don't see Kairi losing back to back. And that's the big thing I can't get him out of my head while I'm thinking about this match.
Yeah, well, we will find out. We will find out in about 24 hours after this episode drops, and I'm super excited for it.
Absolutely. And that brings us to our main event, which is going to be a fantastic match, but will be decidedly easier to call. And it's Syuri versus Utami, Act 3, or Act 4 if you can. 5. Act 5. If you think about their 5-star matches for the World of Stardom belt. It's got to be Syuri, Matt.
Who I think? Well, I agree, but not all the way. You know who really wins this match? We do. The fans.
We do, absolutely, absolutely, we do.
If I'm Rossi Ogawa, I do a big middle finger. I think you do the co-main event time limit draw. You do this time limit draw.
Imagine 2 back-to-back time limit draws. Imagine.
And then you find out that in the money ball, it's not money. It's actually a Money in the Bank cash-in contract. And Waka, you want Waka to get a win? Waka cashes in and beat Sherry for the belt. Anywho, folks, yes, Sherry's going to win this match, but it's going to be another just phenomenal match in these two. And this is like very much like Okada and Tanahashi, where it's just like you can put these two together at any time and no one's ever going to get sick of it. But we have a completely different wrinkle in this match because this is the first time that Sherry's going in as champion and Utami's the challenger. And not only that, but this is the first time Utami is going to any of their matches as the leader of a Queen's Quest. Mm-hmm. So you have the two faction leaders as well. So that adds just a little bit more wrinkle to it. But yeah, I think Sherry's going to win. And I think Sherry's going to win like the final, very much like how Utami won their 5-star match, the final like 1 or 2 seconds. I think Sherry wins this just as the time limit's going to expire.
Yeah, I think Sherry needs to beat Utami decisively as well. I don't want another time limit draw. That was what, it was a special moment, that match at Tokyo Dream. I don't think we need to replay that. Make it go 40 minutes. Don't care. Make it go 50. Make it go an hour. I don't care.
Yeah.
Give it.
You're on a roll, buddy. You're coming up there, my man. You're firing up. Robomania. That's what we need.
I mean, we know it's going to be an awesome match, so give them time. It's unfortunate that obviously it comes at a time where we know that Syuri's going to win because obviously the big money match going into Dream Queendom is the Syuri and Julia rematch. But that's not going to affect the match quality. The match quality is still going to be outstanding. Let's move on then to... Somehow this isn't the main event of the weekend because on the 20th of November, we have historic crossover. The first co-promoted show between Stardom and New Japan. The full card has been announced, which Matt ran down last week. We're going to preview the Stardom matches, but I will run through the entire card in a moment with the New Japan matches because we do have some tasty New Japan matchups as well. Let's start with the pre-show, an 8-man tag team match with Alex Coughlin, Clark Connors, Gabriel Kidd, and Kevin Knight taking on Kosai Vegeta, Oscar Lube, Ryohei Oiwa, and Yuto Nakashima. I mean, I can only think that has gone perfectly, guys. So if I've got that wrong, please tell me. There is also a pre-show Stardom Rumble, which we will be talking about in a minute. The main card, I believe, is going to open with an 8-man tag team match. The Chaos team of Lio Rush, Tomohiro Ishii, Yo, and Yoshihashi taking on the House of Torture. Dick Togo, Evil Show, and Yujiro Takahashi. We've then got the first Stardom match, the 6-woman tag team match, Queen's Quest team of Azumi, Lady C, and Saya Kamatani taking on the Donna Del Mondo team of Himika, Mai Sakurai, and Tekla. We've got a mixed tag match with Syuri and Tom Lawler taking on Zack Sabre Julia, which is just the greatest tag team name ever.
Yeah.
We then move on to our mixed 8-person tag match with Black Desire, Momo Watanabe and Starlight Kid, and Dookie and El Desperado taking on the Meltier team of Natsupoi and Tam Nakano, and Taichi and Yoshinobu Kanemaru. That's going to be loads of fun. I've seen the training videos. It's going to be hilarious. We've got a mixed tag team match between two of possibly the greatest pieces of merchandise I've ever seen. The t-shirts that Hiroshi Tanahashi and Utami and the team of Goto and Maika, Goto and Maika's especially, if they sell that shirt, Jesus Christ, it needs to be bought immediately.
I can't get any of these shirts. Oh my goodness. We're going to have to save it for a later time because I know I texted you yesterday. The Stardom merchandise moves like ECW merchandise in 96, 97. Oh my goodness.
I know, it really does.
My God. If folks, I don't mean to go on a tangent. I apologize for cutting you off, Rob, but like literally if there's something that you see that you want, you go and get it. Like I wanted to get the new Stardom hoodie. 2 days later, I went to go get it. Every size was sold out. Mm-hmm. Like it's insane. Like the way their merchandise is moving, it's crazy. So yeah, I'm literally on that Stardom website for the t-shirts because I want the Utami, I want the Utami Tanahashi, the Goto Maika one, and then they released one with like 5 or 6 people from Stardom and 5 or 6 people from New Japan in like this cartoon style on the Japanese website. Every size except for small, medium sold out in 6 hours.
You could shed some muscle, mate. You could get into a small. Don't do yourself down.
Are you kidding me? You've seen these arms and these shoulders, brother? Come on, it's an upper body business, brother. You kidding me?
I must admit, actually, as well, while we're on the point of merch, Starlight Kid and El Desperado released a joint shirt as well, and that looks really cool as well.
Sold out.
Yeah, of course it is.
Sold out,
Of course
sold
it is.
sold out in 2 days. Unbelievable.
But yeah, mixed tag team match, Hiroshi Tanahashi and Utami Hayashishita taking on Hiroki Goto and Maika. We've then got a 10-man tag team match, LIJ team of Bushi, Hiromu Takahashi, Sanada, Shingo Takagi, and Tetsuya Naito versus the United Empire team of Francesco Akira, Gideon Gray, Kyle Fletcher, Mark Davis, and TJP. 6-man tag team match follows that with the Chaos team of Kazuchika Okada and Toru Yano and the Great Muta. The Great Muta is on this show versus... Unbelievable. Versus the United Empire team of Aaron Hanare, Great O'Khan, and Jeff Cobb. I'm just happy the Great O'Khan's on this show. In your semi-main event, it's an IWGP United States heavyweight title match between Will Ospreay and Shota Umino, who had a fantastic singles match at Royal Quest, which I was privy to, which ended with what looked like an injury to Shota, to his neck. So I'm hoping he's considerably better, because that's going to be a very exciting match. And then finally, your main event, as it should be, the vacant IWGP Women's Championship. The inaugural champion will be crowned. It's Mayu Iwatani versus Kairi in the final, in the main event. I did see something saying Kairi was the first woman to main event a WWE and a New Japan pay-per-view, which, you know, is incredible, but also there's only been two people who ever headlined a New Japan show as a woman. So, yeah, but even so, a cool accolade. I will just say before we sort of give our predictions that at One Up Culture has written an incredible piece on the history between Mayu and Kairi. So if you get 5-10 minutes before Sunday's show, I actively encourage you. It's been retweeted by the @WrestleIn Twitter page as well, so it's on wrestling.com. Go and check it out, because it does add a significant amount of depth to this feud between Mayu, who has stuck around with Stardom through thick and thin, and then Kairi, who went to go and get glory and fame and then has come back as this icon. So it does add an extra layer to that, and I do encourage you to go and check that out. So, Matt, let's run down this card. We'll just predict the Stardom ones, just because I'm conscious of people's time. So let's start with the Stardom Rambo. So what I've done is I've made a list of people who aren't on the card as is, and I'm sure they might have some guests as well, but these are the people that I could think of: Naomi Amasaki, Hina, Rina, Natsuka Tora, Saki Kashima, Amisori, Mirai, Hazuki, Koguma, Saya Ida, Momokoga, Waka Tsukiyama, Ruwaka, Saki, which again might be or might not be with her being part of Colours, Hanan, Fukigen Death, and then maybe Unagi, maybe Mina. I don't know. They're the ones that immediately jumped out to me. I'm sure there are others as well that I've missed out. But who do you see winning the pre-show Stardom Rambo, and why is it Waka Tsukiyama?
Oh my goodness, I was going to say Waka. I was like, we're really crowning her. I would say Waka as the joke, but again, there's a lot of intertwining stories you're going to have on this card, because again, you're going to see how many thousands of people are going to be in the building and how many more are going to be watching on pay-per-view. But I'm going to say it's going to be Mirai, just based on she won the Cinderella. And when she wins it, you could be like, oh, you know, Kevin, our friend of the show, Kevin Kelly.
Hello, Kevin.
Put over, yes, how you doing, sir? Safe travels back from Japan. He can very easily say, you know, Mirai, not only did she win this Rumble, she also won this year's Cinderella tournament, which you can watch on Stardom World. And it's basically like a free commercial for Stardom World. She'd be like, oh, I like this Mirai. She was pretty good. What other big things did she win this year? And boom, right there, you can insert it there that she won the Cinderella tournament. So that is the reason why I am picking Mirai to win the Rumble, Rambo, whatever you want to call it.
I'm going to go with Koguma.
Oh, there you go.
I mean, I was
runner up of the Cinderella tournament.
Absolutely, why not? I think it's going to be a comedy thing. I don't think for a moment it's going to be taken seriously, especially as it's a pre-show thing. It's not on the main card. Why not give it to Koguma? Koguma's done really well this year. Comedy is definitely her bag as well. So yeah, stick it on her. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be of, you know, hugely significant importance. I don't think she's going to be cashing in this opportunity at the end of the show. But well, I suppose she might do. Who knows? But yeah, I think it's going to be one of Koguma and Hazuki personally for me. but we'll see. Let's move on to the first All-Stardom match, which is a 6-woman tag team match. The Queen's Quest team of Azumi, Lady C, and Saya Kamatani taking on the Donna Del Mondo team of Himika, Mai Sakurai, and Tekla. Matt, who do you have and why?
Saya Kamatani, Phoenix Splash onto Mai Sakurai or Tekla for the win. You want to highlight Saya Kamatani, regardless of what happens the night before with her and Kairi. You put a lot of chips or eggs into the Saya Kamatani basket for this year, and you've hit home run after home run after home run. So I think that's where you go here on this big show.
I agree completely. Saya Kamatani gets the win.
Boom. Go us.
Mixed tag team match then. Syuri and Tom Lawler taking on Zack Sabre Julia. I'd be happy with either team winning this, if I'm perfectly honest, but I do think that it will be Syuri and Tom Lawler. For a couple of reasons. Obviously, you want to highlight your biggest champion, which is Syuri. Tom Lawler, huge Stardom fan. So the fact that he's part of the Stardom card, I imagine, is a big, a really cool thing for him. I'd like to see him highlighted with a victory here.
I see your point there, sir, but I disagree. You're not going to beat Sherry. You're not beating Julia. You're not beating Zack Sabre Jr. because he is in the finals of the TV tournament against Ren Narita, and that finals is taking place at the Tokyo Dome. So I don't think you're beating Zack Sabre Jr. on the way to the Tokyo Dome. I guess you can, but I think the most importantly thing for this match, Rob, for the Stardom fans that me and you are, is this is going to serve as a free commercial for your main event for Dream Queendom. And you're going to think I think if you have some really good showing between Shuri and Julia, which, I mean, come on, how can you not? Like, you have some really good sequences with the two of them and having a real intense stare down at the end of the match with Shuri holding up the belt and Julia kind of just looking off to the side. That's the picture you want. That's going to catapult more buys and more tickets for Dream Queendom. So I think outside, if you're Stardom, the Stardom brass, outside of obviously the main event, this is your big focal point going into this show Sunday night, Sunday morning, whenever, depending on your time zone, is you need to have a really, really good showing with these two and really put the emphasis on like, hey, this is your main event at your biggest show coming up in about 5 weeks' time.
Assuming Shuri beats Utami.
Well, okay. Yes.
Imagine if Utami wins and all of that spiel just goes out the window.
What do I know?
Let's go to the mixed 8-person tag. Keep saying 8-woman now. And it is Black Desire, Momo Watanabe, and Starlight Kid, Dookie and El Desperado, and the team of Melty and Natsupoi and Tam Nakano, and Taichi and Yoshinobu Kanemaru. Do we think Meltier and Suzuki-gun are winning this?
Yeah, again, you're highlighting your biggest stars, and as much as I love Momo and Starlight Kid, Tam Nakano and Natsupoi are huge stars, so I think that's where you're going. You don't necessarily need to beat Momo or Starlight Kid. It could come from the male portion of the match. I don't know, but obviously, and here's something else too. Is you've been seeing a lot more training videos and a lot more online videos with the Suzuki-gun and Meltier. So I think that's the way you're going. I think that's maybe one of the easier matches to pick, which if Rob agrees with me that it's the easiest match to pick, bet on the opposite side, folks.
Yeah, absolutely. So Momo and Starlight Kid are winning this. What I will say is that obviously that Meltier entrance, in the
oh my god,
in front of that 10,000 people in Ariake Arena is going to be pretty damn cool. Again, we've both mentioned that it's not quite our bag. It's still going to be an awesome entrance. It's still going to be incredibly flashy, and I do think that they'll do that and win. I think it'd be extremely anticlimactic if you've got this extremely showy entrance and then you beat them in 5 minutes. We've then got the mixed tag match, Hiroshi Tanahashi and Utami Hayashishita taking on Hiroki Goto and Maika. Bless him, but Hiroki Goto is not winning this. It is the team of Tanahashi and Utami 1,000%.
I'm not going to say 1,000%, maybe 999%, but not 1,000. Yeah, again, big show. I think this is one, not Paul White big show, but big show. I think, you have the ace, go ace. I think it's going to be Tanahashi pinning Goto with the high fly flow to end this one. But yes, once again, sir, I agree with you. So that means bet the opposite side, folks.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Goto is he always seems to stumble at the final hurdle. And I like Goto, I really do.
Kind of like Micah, too. Like, they're kind of like one and the same, where they get, you can put them in title matches and they're going to be awesome, but you know that they're never winning.
Yeah, absolutely, which is unfortunate. I do think, by the way, in a couple of years, Micah will get rid of that monkey.
I agree. I agree.
But yeah, Hiroki Goto, that monkey has not only been on his shoulder for a while, it has moved in, it has built a house, it's built a colony on that poor man's shoulders.
And I love Goto.
I
too,
love Goto,
but yeah.
And then, of course, the main event, the most important match of the night, Mayu Iwatani versus Kairi. Irrelevant of who wins this, it's going to be a sensational match. It's going to be the best match for Kairi since she's come back. There's such a huge amount of expectation surrounding this match. There's no way it's going to disappoint. I think you have to end this show with the current icon of Stardom, the person that you are building this promotion around, that has been there for the entirety of its run. It has to be Mayu. Yes, Kairi brings more eyes. I completely agree with that. And Kairi is more of a mainstream draw. But if you are building Stardom, you build it around the icon that never left, not the icon that came back. Mayu has been through everything with Stardom, through the highs, the lows, and now its astronomical rise to the point where they're doing shows with New Japan, and you've got women main eventing in New Japan pay-per-view. Mayu has been there for everything, has won everything there is to win that she's been able to win. I just feel like this is her moment. You need to give her this crowning moment.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm going to ask you what might be the hardest question that I've ever, and there's no wrong answer, what maybe the hardest question that I've been part of this podcast for the last year or so. What is the better match for Kairi against Saya Kamatani, the wrestler of the year, or Mayu, one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, still at the top of her game?
Mayu.
Where do you oh, wow. You didn't even have to think about that.
No, I think, much I think that...
I don't want to answer that question.
Much I think that Kairi and Saya will have a great match, and I think there's a good story there. These two women have been entwined together as part of Freedom. They've won the Artist of Stardom Championships together. They go back all the way to 2013. There's a lot of history there. And then you add the history of this, just those couple of promos where Mayu has said, you know what, you went away and became an icon. I stayed here for 5 years and helped this company. I feel like there's more of a palpable story. Just from a story aspect, I feel like this match is more exciting. I mean, it's 1A and 1B, don't get me wrong. But I feel like this is the main event of the weekend for me. This one. Yeah. Again, I'm excited when we do the reviews, and we're reviewing them separate. Obviously, next week we're doing the review of the show from the 13th, and then we'll be doing the Gold Rush, and then a couple days after, we'll be doing our review of this show with Karen Peterson, who is in Japan right now as we speak. So that will be exciting. But I'm going to go on a limb here, Mr. Goodwin, and I'm going to say that by the end of this night, you obviously have this historic show. The Great Muta coming back to New Japan. You have all these mixed tag matches. You're going to have probably about 10,000 people there. You're going to see so many eyes on Stardom. This is going to be such a great vehicle to show the world what me and you and so many of the friends and family of the Stardom cast have known for a long time, of just how great this company is. But I think after Mayu gets the belt, I think someone's going to come out and you're going to set up your Tokyo Dome IWGP match. I don't know who it's going to be. There's been some rumors flying around, some people doing some dream booking, some fingers crossing, but I would not be shocked that by the end of this night, you have your Tokyo Dome IWGP match set in stone for the 4th of January. Completely.
What a great way. What a great way to slingshot that right in. We crowned our first champion. We've already made the announcement, our first title defense. It's not happening at Dream Queendom. It's not happening at Korakuen Hall. It's not happening at Backlash. It's not happening at King of the Ring. It's not even happening on WCW Thursday Night Thunder. But it is going to be happening at the Tokyo Dome. And what better way to have your first women's championship match in I don't know how many years than on that January 4th show or really the first one ever at Wrestle Kingdom. But to kind of start the vehicle, right there. So I think not only we're going to see a great show, we're going to see a great main event. We're going to see a lot more eyes on the product of Stardom, but I think you're going to have a really, really cool surprise at the end of the show.
Absolutely. Waka Tsukiyama coming out,
oh my
cashing
goodness.
in the money ball in the bank on Mayu Iwatani.
And then after she beats Sherry on the way too, and you do title for title, and it's just a complete Goldberg style squash.
Absolutely. Hashtag Waka 2 belts.
Yeah. So then after Okada beats Jay White, he's like, what's next? And then Waka comes out.
She doesn't come out, she runs out.
She runs out. And then, right? So then she beats Okada. And then the big question in all of wrestling is who's going to beat Roman Reigns for the belt? And so you have Waka winning the Rumble as the IWGP male, women's, and the Stardom champion against Roman Reigns. Boy, folks, why are we not booking wrestling?
Honestly, I am amazed that we don't run a promotion with Waka as our top girl. If you had to have a hazard a guess, and this will be the last question before we let everyone go. If you had to hazard a guess, Mayu Iwatani standing tall at the end of historic crossover, who do you think is her first challenge? It's got to be someone big.
Which is at the Tokyo Dome, correct? That's what we're obviously. Dome. That's right. There's one name. It's on every. If you go on Twitter, it's on everybody. It's on the tip of everybody's tongue.
It's not going to be EO. It's not going to be EO.
It's on. I wish it was EO, but it's someone. Oh my God! I wish it was. Holy jeez! But it's literally somebody that's been teasing they're going to be doing something big in the month of November. Keep your eyes peeled. I'm going to say it.
No, you're not. No.
Sasha,
it's not going to be Sasha Banks. No.
Sasha Banks.
Disagree.
Yeah. Yep, it's Sasha Banks.
It's not going to be Sasha Banks.
I will bet you one beer, sir. Now, granted, here's the deal. I know I have personal friends of mine that listen to this podcast. I said, wait a minute. Anytime you go to a bar with me, it's always drinks on me. So what does that mean? Yes, you're right. But I will bet you one beer that it's going to be Sasha Banks. So if I'm wrong, when we finally meet up, the first 2 or 3 rounds is on me.
Deal. Okay.
Deal. Okay. There we go, folks.
I don't see it being Sasha Banks. I think...
Who do you think it's going to be? Keep in mind, the AEW pay-per-view is the night before. So that takes out Tony Storm, takes out Jamie Hayter, it takes out Britt Baker. Because they're on that pay-per-view.
Yeah, I agree.
Or later in the day. It's the same day.
The chances are it's going to be... No, isn't Full Gear the same day as Gold Rush?
Full Gear is on Sunday, so the 20th.
Oh, I thought
so the same day as Easter.
I thought it was the 19th. There you go.
20th.
Oh man, you're proper going to undercut me with your whole Sasha Banks reveal.
Well, then you brought it up. I wasn't going to say who it was until you brought it up. So.
If
you must have somebody in mind.
No, I haven't, to be fair. I just don't see it. I know she wants to wrestle in Japan. Obviously, she's free of contract obligations with WWE. She hasn't returned yet.
She said she's been very open. She wants to wrestle Mayu. When they asked her, she did a Sports. I've said this on this podcast a dozen times. She did a Sports Illustrated interview about a year or so ago. And says, "Are there any dream matches you want?" And without even a blink of an eye, she said, "Mayu Iwatani. I want to go to Stardom and wrestle Mayu."
I mean,
boy.
You're looking at names and you do look at, the likes of Julia, the likes of Syuri. Obviously, they're your big name draws. Utami, Sai Kamatani.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
But they all have belts or in a main event picture. If it gets announced at this pay-per-view, maybe it will be Sasha Banks, but I don't see it. No. I don't see it.
And he was denying me, and I turned him, just like how we turned him with the Mayu winning the belt.
I don't see it. I don't see it. Unfortunately, I don't see it, but I would love to be proved wrong. I'd love it. Let's sort of wrap things up, Matt. Obviously, the next time you hear our lovely dulcet tones, we will be reviewing the Gold Rush pay-per-view. That's on the 19th of November. Our review of that should drop on Friday the 25th at midnight Eastern Standard Time. We've then got our historic crossover show, which we're recording with Karen Peterson, the lovely Karen Peterson, on the 26th of November. That's going to be dropping early Monday morning in your feed. So the 28th at midnight, again, Eastern Standard Time. So keep your eyes out for that. In the meantime, guys, thank you so much for listening for the near 2 hours, or it will be 2 hours by the time we've actually wrapped everything up, that we have been chatting some Stardom things. We really do appreciate it. Don't forget that you can subscribe to the podcast wherever you get your podcasts. If you can't afford the Patreon or you just don't want to do it, that's absolutely fine. A free way to support the podcast is writing a really quick comment, giving us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. It really, 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 really helps the podcast out. I can't stress to you how much it helps us out, but it would be great if you could do that. Subscribe to our Patreon if you can. Thank you to everyone who has already done that. We really do appreciate every single one of you. Patreon.com/The Stardom Cast. You can find us on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, all under the URL The Stardom Cast. You can talk to me on Twitter at RealRobGoodwin. Don't forget the website is undergoing a makeover, but you can still find it at the moment at www.thestardomcast.weebly.com. Matt, where can they find you? And of course, sign us off, my friend.
Thank you, good sir. As always, guys, thanks to everybody for the support. Any questions, comments, let me know. Matt Turner OF on Twitter and the Instagram. I'm more than likely 99.9% will be watching these two pay-per-views live as they happen. So by all means, if you have a question or comment, or you just want to, tag me in something, by all means, again, Matt Turner OF on the Twitter and or the Instagram. If social media is not your thing, and I completely understand that, you can reach me on my email address. It is thestardomcast22@gmail.com. And again, folks, we greatly appreciate your help. So remember, it's not just my podcast, it's our podcast, because we're all in this together, and everybody's different, everybody's special.